Órale, Cholo Trucker, los tres chingones boxing. Shouts to all the chingones y chingonas. I was running a little bit late, man. I got caught up watching TV. The movie Bloodsport was on, and I don't know, man. I just got lost in the movie Bloodsport. They just don't make them like they used to. Let's go ahead and bring in El Gran Chingon, El Mero Mero One, Mr. Jerry Contreras.
Hey Cholo, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Good, brother. How about yourself?
Man, we have a lot to talk about.
Yes, sir, man.
A lot
Yes,
of
we
things
do.
going on, brother. A lot of things going on, man.
It's a novela out there, man. I'll tell you, it's a
Yeah.
novela. Hey,
But
what's
but
up,
you but you know
Demetrio?
but you know what, Cholo? We've seen this movie before. We've seen this movie. And right now, we start getting into some of the topics, especially with TKO,
Mm,
brother. We have seen this movie before, and I'm going to remind you when we get in the subject matter.
okay, okay. What's up, Demetrio? Andrew,
Andrew.
JC, bow down to Uncle Turk. We'll talk about that. Yeah, Bloodsport. Hey, you know what? It was on, and I just had it on, and I just got more caught up in the movie Bloodsport. I don't know, man. They just don't make them like they used to. That's one of my favorite childhood movies right there, man. All right. You know what? Let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about David. Let's talk a little bit about Rayo. He gets in there with Gary Antoine Russell, and I was texting a little bit with our friend Pete Town, Pomona Soul Sounds. He's all like, "Man, he looks terrible," and I'm like, "Okay, does he look terrible, or is that just who he really is?" And Antoine just had his number. I'm not really sure, David. I can't really put my finger on it. Like, well, you know what? He's a lot better fighter than that, and he's just not showing it here on this fight. I'm like, I'm not really too sure, man. What's your thoughts?
You know what, brother? I think that we need to realize that there's somebody better than us. You know what I
Mm,
mean? You may be a champion, but there's somebody better than you. And you know what? Antoine Russell was better than him that night and will be better than him tomorrow. You know what I
mm.
mean? I mean, everybody, even Superman, has a kryptonite. Everybody has it. I don't care. Put Canelo. I can't tell you with who right now, but there's a Gary Russell for Canelo. There was a Gary Russell for Floyd May. I don't care who he is. And you know what? This guy, he's a better fighter, man. I mean, I love to see Rayo go against Subiel Martias. I'd like to see him, you know what I mean? Go up against other fighters, even against Martin. It'd be a good fight. Even against Puello would be a good fight. But dude, this guy is a good fighter, man. He is a damn good fighter. And you know what? If they fought again, it'd be the same result. This guy is just good.
You don't think David Rayo being with the new camp, maybe another fight, maybe two more fights? You think he maybe stands a chance against Russell if they run it
No,
back?
no,
Really?
he'll never
Okay.
stand. You know what? Russell's at a different level. And I agree with you, Andrew Martinez. You know what? Give him credit. Dude, this guy, the way I saw him fight, but the only thing is he lacks consistency. That
Mm.
fight against Rayo, dude, this guy looked awesome, man. I'm not a big fan. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But I'll tell you, after that fight, I think that he can literally, but if he stays consistent, I think he could clean up that. I mean, especially now that Theo, after this fight, is going to go to 147. Well, I think he's already fighting at 147. You know, but if he's not, I'll tell you, I'd like to see this guy would beat Hitchinson. This guy
Okay.
would, without a doubt, beat Hitchinson and will beat Puello. He will beat those guys. This guy, dude, I was impressed. I've always been a fan of the Russells, but this guy, I'm telling you, he's if he's consistent, needs to fight more than once a year. Needs to fight 2 or 3 times a year. This guy's a good fighter, man. I mean, this guy, he looked good. He looked great.
And you know what, David? That was always the problem with his brother,
Mhm.
Gary Russell Jr., that he only fought once a year.
I know. And he was
That
great. Remember? He was
Yeah,
great.
he was good.
Yeah.
I liked him. I like
Yeah.
watching him fight, man. He had some fast hands.
He
Man, he
did.
had some fast hands. I liked watching him fight, but this guy
Mhm.
would only fight once a year, once every 14 months. once every 13 months. It's like, come on, man. You could do a lot more in your
He
career if
could
you
have.
keep on going,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
So I mean, when it comes to Antoine Russell, I like watching him fight. He's pretty good. I enjoy fights, but yeah, he's got to be a lot more active. He's got to make a little bit more noise. People don't really know him too well. So, I mean, there's a good victory from him for him. But David, this victory doesn't really mean anything if he doesn't capitalize on it and start
Yes, he
building
has to
on it.
capitalize on it. Yes.
If he sits on his hands for the rest of the year and we don't see him till February next year, David, it's a waste, brother.
Yeah. I'm hoping Turkey is going to say, hey, you know what? Come in my stable. Because, I mean, we'll talk about that right now. I'm hoping that Turkey, because this guy, he's the real deal, Cholo. I mean, like I said, I still believe in Rayo, but
Hmm.
this guy is without a doubt, man, his kryptonite. He's without a doubt his kryptonite.
All right, let's talk about yeah, I you know what I that's what I was thinking as well, man. Shouts to our boy Pomono Soul Sounds, because he was just like, man, he looks terrible, and I'm just kind of like, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I think just Russell's just better, you
he
know.
is. He
I
was.
never thought. Look, I like Rayo, I do. I never thought he was great.
No,
I
no.
thought he's good. I think
Mhm.
he's a good fighter, but
Mhm.
I never thought he was great. Um, so when I was watching the fight, I was just like, yeah, no. And then I'm like, you know, yeah, he's got a new camp, but everybody knows you need 2, 3 fights for the new camp to start showing out of a fighter. You know, can there be any changes? I think he could get better. I don't know if he could never be great, but
No, he'll
David,
never be great. No.
okay, David, what's next for Rayo? And not only that, David, well, before I ask you that, well, let me ask you this first, two-part question. One, was this worse, taking this type of beating that he took? I mean, he took a pretty good beating. He gave Russell some good shots and everything. But what was more ripping to Rayo, this or Edwin de los Santos getting knocked out cold? And two, where does Rayo go from here?
De los Santos. Dude,
Mm,
De los Santos. I want to see him fight De los Santos. That's going to tell me where he needs to be. You know, he did the payback against ¿cómo se llama that one black guy that he fought? Colbert, was it? He did the
yeah,
payback, remember? I mean, he won
yeah.
the first fight, but the second fight, he came in the second, third round, knocked him out. I want to see him fight De Los Santos. That's his fight back. And I think that'd be a good fight, but that's gonna test him where he's at. He took the worst beating with De Los Santos. This one, I didn't see him take a bad beating. He just got beat, bro. But De Los Santos, dude, he got knocked out, man. He was out.
Yeah. JC, he was with Rayo before. He was with RGBA. He was up
He
there
was with Jose Benavides.
with the
Yeah,
Benavides camp. Yeah, he was with the Benavides camp, man. And something happened, some friction, because there's some bad blood between them now. So Rayo stock took a dive.
they did.
Yeah,
Yeah, too.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, it did as far as can he be the next guy?
no.
I don't think anybody believes that anymore. If they ever believe that, I don't think anybody believes that anymore.
Cholo, do you think that anybody actually believed that he was gonna be the next guy? I never believed it. I like him. I like seeing his fights.
Mm.
He has a lot of cora, a lot of corazon. But I mean, he's a Mexican fighter. But I never thought that he was gonna be the guy. Did you ever think that?
No, no, I never
Mm,
thought he was gonna be the guy. He
no.
jumped on here with us. Remember a while
Yes,
back.
yes, we did.
He-
We're interviewing
he-
Jose.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
interviewing Jose Benavides,
yeah.
and Rayo jumped on, and Mikey was all like, "Shh, you're the next one, dog. You're the next
Ah,
one, man." No, but hey, by the way, shout out to Mikey, the boxing scientist. He'll be back on here next week, man. He's over there breaking down fights since all these fights are getting made. But it's his second fight with RGBA. Yeah, well, he needs a little bit more time. But again, I think he get a little bit better. I don't think he can ever be the guy.
yeah.
The Edwin de los Santos fight, yeah, that'd be good for him to go. to go avenge that loss. I think he can avenge that loss. I was there in person when he got knocked out
That
cold.
was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, man.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
man. I felt bad for him. I felt bad for him. But David, so should he go back to 135, or does he stay at 140 then?
I say go to what stay. I say go back to 135. Go back to if he
Mm.
could make 135, go back to 135. I don't see that he has that punching power. He has a punch power, but I think at 135 he'd be more devastating.
Yeah, if he can make the weight. I mean, he's a little bit tall for
Yeah.
135 as well. But yeah, I think he's probably going to stay at 140. And maybe the Los Santos will move up to fight him. I mean, the Los Santos doesn't make a lot of money. He doesn't bring in a lot of revenue. So
Dude, when was the
maybe
last time he fought, Cholo? When was the last time he fought? Shakur Stevenson a year and a half ago.
was that the last time he was
Yeah,
in the
that's
ring?
the last. I mean, somebody tell us. I don't remember seeing. I like seeing him fight. I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man, yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
if that's the last time, yeah, man.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, Rayo beat Pitbull. So, I mean, yeah, I look, I want to see him fight again, man. Hopefully he gets back in the ring. David, where does Antoine Russell go from here?
Dude, I want to see him fight Hutchins.
Okay.
I think that would be a good fight, and I have Russell beat him, and after that, it was a what a even fight, a tie fight against Martin and Puello, and I think Martin got screwed on that one. I want to see him fight. I think I want to see him fight Puello, and the other belt would be Teofimo, but I don't see Teofimo staying. But I could see Russell uniting the belts if they're still around. If they're still around.
Yeah, we'll definitely
Yeah.
get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you, David. I thought Sandor Martin got screwed
He got screwed
out
again.
of his victory.
Again.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
Sandor Martin, who I'm not that big of a fan of, but I thought he got screwed. I thought he beat Puello pretty convincingly. I was like, what the heck is going on here,
Yeah.
man? But you know, um, so yeah, Antoine. I mean, look, I think he can do some damage at 140. I would like to see him in there against Subriel Matias. I would. Who it fell under the radar. Nobody really knew about it. But Matias had a victory over the weekend. Did you get a chance to see that, David?
Uh, Matias, no, I did not.
Subriel Matias.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he won. When it comes to Subriel Matias, David, he's just a strong guy, but there's nothing there. There's no head movement. There's no defense. It's just put up the guard. I'll come forward. I'll take your best shots and I'll hit you hard, which works for him. But there's just not a lot there, man. There's just not a lot of like great boxing skills when it comes to Subriel Matias, man. But yeah, I would definitely like to see Antoine Russell in there against him. What's up, Anthony Bravo? All right. David, let's go ahead and let's get into the whole controversy, man. Well, let's get into the fight first before we get into the controversy. Lamont Roach moves up from 130 to 135 to fight Tank Davis. Um, it was a good fight. I
great.
really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was gonna enjoy the fight as much as I did, but it was a really good fight. What did you make of the fight, David?
You know, I didn't call it, bro. I mean, I thought it was going to be 8 or 9 round. Tank was going to knock him out. I'll tell you, I am impressed with Roach. I am impressed with Roach. That's another one that you know what I didn't have my eye on him. I had it 7-5. I had it 7-5, and when it came, uh, I had it 7-5. I was surprised with one of the judges' scorecards
You had it 7-5
for Russell. I'm sorry, for Roach.
for Roach. You had
Oh
Roach
yeah,
winning.
I had Roach. I had Roach winning. I did not have it a tie. I had it one round. Oh, 7-5
Mm,
for
okay.
Roach. Oh yeah, Roach. I mean, he fought the perfect fight, man. And then that's not even with the ninth round with the knockdown. Not even
Mm.
that. And I'm gonna call it a knockdown, but not even with that. I had it 7-5. Roach.
Grease skate.
Yeah, Grease Gate. Really?
You okay?
How did you have it? How did you have it?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna get to. Okay,
Mm.
taking all the mamadas aside, we'll
Yeah,
get to that. We'll get to that stuff right now. Okay, taking all that aside, if that stuff never happened and never existed, I think Roach did better than Pitbull Cruz when he fought Tank Davis. Okay,
yes.
some people thought that some people thought that Pitbull won that fight. No, I think I think Pitbull did good. I think he did good. I saw it more like a draw. Okay. This fight right here, David, this fight right here, to me, either Roach won or it was a draw. One thing that I did not see was a Tank victory. I'm like, no, no. Roach won this fight, or at the very least, at the very least, this was a draw.
I
But the
didn't see
fact
it.
that
I didn't see the draw, man. I
I
didn't see the draw, man.
some of these scorecards, looking at it now, where I think like the first 4 rounds or something like that was given to Tank. I'm not even really sure. I'm like, whoa, yeah, no, I don't see that, man. I
Yeah.
don't see that. I lean more to Roach winning this fight.
Yeah.
But the fact that one judge gave it to Tank, I'm like, man, okay. And then you got the other two judges that had it to draw. I'm like, wow, so there's a majority draw. To me, it would have been the other way around. One judge that gave it to Roach, and then the other two judges could have it a majority draw. At the very most delusional look at it. But in all reality, I thought Roach won this fight without all the other, without that ninth round even going down the way it
Yeah.
went down. I thought Roach won that fight, man.
Me too. Yeah. I don't think it was a robbery. I don't think it was a robbery, but I had him winning 7-5.
There's a few
Now,
words that
now, now, let me reiterate. Now I think it's a robbery. The ninth
okay,
round, when
yeah,
I hope the New York Commission changes that ruling. If they don't, it's a robbery. It's a robbery. If they don't change that ruling to a knockdown, and once they do, I mean, that at one point gives him the fight, gives him the championship. So
yeah.
if they don't rule in that favor, then it's a robbery. But the fight was not a robbery. I had 7-5. It was not a robbery.
Okay,
Does that make
I'm with
sense?
it
Yeah.
make to me it makes perfect sense. Okay, there's two words that get thrown around way too loosely in boxing: exposed and robbery. And I'm like, no, no, no. Especially the word robbery
Yeah.
nowadays. When there's a close fight, oh man, he got robbed. Like, no, no, no. A robbery is a complete robbery. Paul Williams versus Landy Lara, that was a robbery when they give it to Paul Williams. I'm like, that that is a robbery. But a 7-5 round fight and they give it to the other fight, that's not a robbery. It cannot be a close fight. It needs to be dominated by one fighter, and then they judges give it to the other fighter. Okay, that's a robbery. But those words get thrown around in boxing way too much. So the fact that they give it to Tank Davis, it's not a robbery. I thought Roach won, but it's not a robbery. But now let's talk about what you're saying, David, because I'm with you. Because it can become a robbery.
Mhm.
Now it is on the New York State Athletic Commission, where now they can turn this into a robbery.
They can.
In the ninth round, Tank deliberately, on under his own volition, decides to step back. Now people can argue, well, Roach landed a jab. Yeah, yes, he did. He did land a jab, right? He decided to go back and take a knee. All right. He went down. He decided to take that knee. Veteran referee Steve Willis starts the count. Tank Davis gets up, runs to his corner. They towel him off. Even Tank himself, with the glove, gets the towel, starts rubbing his face. Steve Willis like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on?" He's like, oh, he's explained to him something. He's like, okay, well, you got to say something. Okay, if not, that looks like a knockdown. What's with the conversation? Why did you stop the count? How did you just allow that to go down? That is all illegal. You cannot do that. There's two
Yeah.
things that went wrong right there. One, he took a knee, whether it was from a punch or whether it wasn't. Because people are making arguments, David, like, oh, he didn't even land a punch, so how is that a knockdown? It
Who
doesn't matter
cares?
if he lands a
You
punch
can't.
or
You can't
doesn't.
take a knee.
He took a knee.
Yeah.
He took a knee, regardless of whether he landed a punch, whether he didn't land a punch, whether that jab is the one that kind of poked him in the eye, whatever it may be. Doesn't matter. If he was just tired and wanting to take a little breather, that doesn't matter. He took a knee under his own volition. It wasn't like they're tied up with each other and Roach kind of pushed him down and then he takes a knee. That's different. That is different. Tank Davis, under no circumstances was he ever wrestling with Lamont Roach and Roach pushed him down for that knee. Tank Davis backs up and takes a knee on his own. That is a knockdown. I don't understand what the discussion is. I don't understand what the debate is. I don't understand because people are trying to fog it so much. Like, you think he's going to go down with a jab? It That doesn't matter, man. Take
Doesn't
that
matter.
jab away. Take the jab away. Let's say Lamont Roach never even threw that jab. That doesn't matter. He took a knee. So, David, what's your thoughts on the referee Steve Willis? Because he started the count. He sent Lamont Roach to the neutral corner and started the count. What's your thoughts on the ref?
Well, Tank probably had a hard time. Who was he seeing? I mean, he had one eye this way, another eye that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So he saw you talking to me or you talking to him, you know?
yeah.
No, on the serious side, you know what? He screwed up. That's the bottom line. You know what? I mean, it is what it is. He screwed up. People are saying he should never judge another fight again or a referee. Dude, he screwed up. That's the bottom line. Now New York has to do the right thing. And I have a feeling that they're going to do the right thing. They're going to do the right thing.
Can they do anything else? I don't see, David. I don't see how they can do anything else. I don't see what their argument would be.
No, I think
What
that's
what
the only
what
thing
would
they
be?
could do. Yeah, that's the only thing they could do. And that's why I'm telling you, Cholo, I think they're going to do the right thing. I mean, they did it to Ryan. I mean, they've done it to other people. Sabes que they're going to do the right thing. Just give it a
I
week. Give it a week. They're going to do the right thing. And what's going to happen? Tank's already telling Roach we're fighting in May, and we're going to see the rerun. And you know what? It's going to be a different Tank. And I think Tank will take them in May. I think Tank will take him in May. So they're going to do the right thing. He's not going to be a world champion, but they're going to run it back.
I agree. I agree. If there's a rematch, I do believe that Tank wins that
Yeah.
fight. But going back to
And
what
he
you're
was not
saying,
exposed. He was not. Tank's a good fighter. I'm not a big fan, but dude, Tank mind wasn't there. He was being very flamboyant. You saw him when he's holding. He's looking at the camera, looking at somebody in the crowd. Dude, that's why he got beat because you know what? He didn't take it serious.
yeah, yeah. I think if there's a rematch, I do have Tank Davis winning that rematch. But see, what you said about the New York State Athletic Commission. I don't think they're gonna do the right thing
Really?
because they're just no, no. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't think they're gonna do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. I think they're gonna do the right thing because there's nothing else for them to do.
Yeah.
There's no. I mean, what can they say? Can they just come out and say? Is there a chance, David, that they just say like, you know what? We after reviewing everything, we're just gonna leave it up to the referee. If Steve Willis
Yeah, no.
decided that to allow the fight to go on, we're just gonna stick with the referee's ruling. Can they do that?
You know what? It can. They can. And if they do, then what? What are we going to do? Never watch boxing again? What are we going to do? It's a robbery. What do they care? But I have, you know what, bro? You have to do the right thing. You're caught on camera. You're caught on camera. You know what I mean? And what they're saying is a reason why they didn't have replay because somehow or another the camera broke. But you know what? Okay, the camera broke in that round. But you know what? But now it's all over the world, all over the boxing scene. ESPN, everybody's showing it. They can't hide. They don't want to do it, but they have to do it. It's on camera. But if they do it, what are we going to do? Quit it? No, we're not. But they got caught with their pants down, and it's on video. That's it.
Okay, okay. That's the only way I think I could see this going. Man, I just they have no leg to stand on,
No, they don't.
none.
They have no leg to
The
stand on.
okay, the only thing that I can see them doing is throwing it all on the referee and just saying like, you know what,
Well,
we're just
you can't throw it on the referee, Ed, because it's part of the rules and regulations. I mean, you
yeah,
could
no,
say that
that
I mean, it's part of the rules and regulations. It's not the referee's fault. The rules were violated. You know what I
right,
mean? I mean, they're in
right.
writing. You can't say, okay, we're throwing the referee down, and that referee's going to say, you're talking to me, with one eye this and the other that way. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is they can't throw it on him. They violated a rule that's in writing already. That's in writing.
Yeah, so what's up, Tony? What's up, D Style?
Hey,
What's up
Tony,
to
peace
everybody in
out.
here, man? Yeah, I don't see there's no debate. The fact that there's people trying to have a discussion or a debate or an argument about this is completely ridiculous, man. There is no discussion, there is no debate, there is no anything. And if the state commission just comes out and just says like, hey, you know what, after reviewing everything, we're just going to stick with the referee's ruling like that,
I don't
yeah,
see it.
man, they can't
No,
do that.
they can't do that.
they
It's
they they
they
cannot
violated a
do that.
rule. They violated a rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right, David. It's all out there. It's on camera, and just some way
Now, if it
somehow.
wasn't on camera, then they would get away with it. But dude, it's
Mhm.
on video. Two major rules. Like you said, the knockdown, and the second one is him jumping on the ropes and his coach actually coming in, I mean, and touching him. He can't do that.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And when I saw him coming with the towel, I was thinking, is he throwing the towel in? That's the first thought that came to mind. And then I saw him cleaning his face. But I mean,
yeah,
that's the first thought that because we've never seen that. I mean,
yeah. No,
I've never seen it.
and the reason why they have to do the right thing here, the reason why, David, because if not, then you open the door for something like this
That's
to
right.
happen again.
Yeah.
You open the door for something like this to happen again. Like, oh, I wasn't punched, I wasn't hurt, I wasn't nothing, but I had to take a knee because something was in my eye.
Yeah.
No, you do not do that. If you're injured, if you're hurt, if you have a broken bone, if you got blood in your eyes, if you got anything, you dance around the ring and wait till you hear the bell, go to your corner and try to get everything as fixed and
Or
situated as
you
you
take
can.
a knee, or you take a
Or you
knee,
do,
and it's an 8
or
count.
yeah,
Or you,
exactly,
yeah, or you
exactly.
take a knee.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you need a timeout during the round, you take a knee, but you also lose a point doing it
That's right.
because it
Mhm.
is a knockdown. If you need to take a break during the round, then okay, step back, take a knee. Just know you lost that round. That's a
Yeah.
knockdown, but you got your little breather. Outside of that, I got no idea. David, what should happen to the referee Steve Willis?
He screwed up. I mean, he goes and has eye surgery. You know what I mean? And he keeps being a referee. You don't kick a man like that out. He screwed up. I mean, you saw him, man. He started the 10 count. He started
Mm.
it, and all of a sudden, I think JC or somebody said, all of a sudden he realized it was the A side. I think he got confused. And he's an older guy, too. He might want to consider to retire. But don't forget, before that, dude, he's a legendary referee. People always remember, I mean, people never remember the good things we do. One mistake they never forget. And this mistake cost a lot of people money, but now the New York Commission is going to make it right.
David, it's what I tell the youngsters that I talk to. Giving them pep talks and everything. Is one thing I tell them. I said, "Hey guys, look, check this out, man. You can do all the good in the world, but you make that one mistake, and a lot
That's
of
right.
people are going to remember you for that. So
Yeah.
be careful with all the decisions that you make in your life, right?" And you're so right about that, David. And you know what? Gracias for reminding me about that, brother, because I was kind of falling onto the other thing of like, let's crucify this dude, man. Look, okay. Okay, you're right. You're right. Okay, I do not remember Steve Willis being in any controversy. Maybe he
I
has. If
remember.
anybody,
Yeah.
and very much can remember, let us know. David, there's people talking about that. Oh, he was bought. He was in the books.
He
It
was
was
not
already
that.
set up.
Oh, dude.
I oh,
No.
you don't believe that? Okay, let me go ahead and throw it to you like this, though, David. Let me throw it to
Mhm.
you like this, because I have a hard time believing that,
Yeah.
that he was bought off. But let me put it to you like this, though, David. Maybe not bought off by a make sure my fighter wins. Maybe not like that. But let me ask you this, David. Had it been Roach that did the same thing, would Steve Willis have done had treated it the same?
I think he was caught off guard, bro. I mean, no, we've never seen that before, and I
Okay.
guarantee you, he had never seen that before. I think he was just caught off guard. The guy has a good reputation. I don't follow him. I don't know much about him, but what little bit I've read, the guy has a good reputation. You know what I mean? And everybody's
Mm,
called him an old fart, and he needs to retire. Maybe he does. You know what I mean? He needs to retire, and he is older. But don't crucify him, man. That guy screwed up. He's not perfect. You know. But him being
mm.
bought off, I don't see it, man. No, not at
But
that
but
level. Yeah.
but David, do you think had it been Lamont Roach that did that, do you think he would have treated it exactly the same?
I'm hoping he would have. I mean, I think
Okay.
it just caught him totally off guard. I think it just caught him off guard. Nobody's seen that. I think D Style was saying something about Paris, and dude, please, I've never seen it before.
Mm.
Who's D Style talking about when he says Paris and somebody? He kept putting it up, and I was reading it, but who's
Uh,
Paris?
Let me see. PVC should have.
Eye surgery
It's
instead. That's a good one, Dimitro.
nah. You know what, man? I mean, he is
Uh,
an older guy, but then I think you're right, David. I think maybe at the moment he just got kind of got caught off guard, and he was just like, what's going on?" Like he got caught up in the moment, like what's going on? What's going on? However, I will say this too, though, because he had a chance to talk to Tank. Once Tank wiped his face off, and Tank gets gets half of his body back in the ring and says like, "Okay, I'm ready to go." Steve Willis does have a little conversation right there, like, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, I had a grease in my eye. Okay, well, you got to say something. If not, at that point, at that moment right there, you're not off guard anymore, man. You got to go ahead and call timeout, and then tell all the judges that was a knockdown. That was a knockdown. Furthermore, okay, here's what I would have done, right? At that point, not right away, because yeah, you're caught off guard, like, whoa, what's going on here, right? But when I'm having the conversation with Tank Davis, okay, like, what's going on? What are you doing? He's all like, oh, I had grease in my eye and everything. That's it. Okay, you can't do that, man. All right, I got to penalize you for that. That's when he should have called timeout, bring Tank to the middle of the ring, tell all the judges that was a knockdown. Rule it a knockdown. It was a knockdown. Furthermore, furthermore, 1 point for making contact with his cornerman. 1 point for making contact to his cornerman. 1 point for making contact with his cornerman. I would have taken 2 points, one for the knockdown and the other one for the violation for him to run over there to get towed off. He could have got disqualified, but that's what I would have done, because he did have time to kind of settle down a little bit and talk to Tank and say, "What's up? What's going on?" Because but you're right, David. I mean, he got caught off guard and he just
you
probably didn't
you
know
know
what to
who
do.
you know who screwed up that night? The commission. They're there. They
Mm,
could have said during the when the round was over, they could have said, "Stop. We need to rule on this," because they knew there was a rule violation right there and then. That's why they tried to repeat it. But dude, what are you going to repeat? You just saw it. But they let the fight continue. You know what I mean? It's the New York Commission that should have stopped it. We've seen that before. They've stopped fights and said, you know what, that's wrong. There was a knockdown. And then we see him during the fight, the referees being ordered that it was a knockdown. And all of a sudden he'll say 2 rounds later, by the way, that was a knockdown. Take a point. We've seen that
mm.
before. So I think the New York Commission should have jumped on it right there. If anybody's crooked, it's a New York Commission. That's who was probably bought off.
And you're
Yeah, what a
right, Tony.
coincidence! What a coincidence! The replay doesn't play. Come on,
At
you know,
at
at
that
that round.
moment,
Yeah, they were
yeah,
bought off. I see them being bought off instead of Chueco Eyes. You know,
at that moment there was a malfunction with the
yeah,
replay,
yeah,
and you're right.
come on,
You're right,
yeah.
Tony. It's that is a
That's
disqualification.
right. It should have been a
Yeah,
DQ.
it should have been a DQ. So
And you
I
know what,
mean,
Ed? I'm surprised little Gary Russell Jr. didn't jump in and started arguing with the referee because they would have
yeah,
probably tried to DQ Roach, but that would have right there settled that. Hey, listen, we gotta. He can't do that. I'm surprised little Roach Jr. His trainer didn't jump in. I'm surprised because he
yeah,
knows. He knows. He knew
yeah. If I were the corner, I'd be livid. I'd be like, "What the hell are you doing?" At the
exactly.
very least, I'd be pissed. How did you not rule that a knockdown?
Yeah.
At the
Yeah.
very least. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be giving it to the ref right then and there, man. Like, what the hell
Mhm.
are you doing? What the hell's going on? And then that should be a DQ. Yeah. So, um, like I said earlier in the week, a rematch is not enough for them just to kind of wipe this to go away.
No,
Like, oh, you know what? We'll just have a rematch, and then we'll just and like Ali Setback is over there talking about like, oh, he just handled it in
he's
the
an
ring.
idiot. He's an idiot. Jesus, I've been hearing him. I've been hearing him. You know, I like Ellie. I've never met the little clown, but I like him because I mean he has over 2 million followers, and he's always at Robert Garcia's gym at all the fights. But I mean, this guy's showing so much preferential treatment. He's talking to Virgil Ortiz. He's talking to Mikey Garcia, and he's telling him, "Well, I think Tank won. I had, dude. You're not a journalist. You're a PR guy now. He's not even a journalist. He's a PR guy for Tank. He's a clown. He just lost all my respect. You know, he's a clown. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's why the whole thing of like just handle it in the ring, just with the rematch. No, I'm
No.
telling
No.
everybody right now before we move on to the next subject. I'm telling everybody right now, a rematch. Fine, fine. Have a rematch, but that's not all that needs to take place. This needs to be overturned.
Yeah.
It has to for the sport. Forget the fact that it's Tank Davis. Forget the fact whomever it was. It needs to happen. If not, you open the door for things like this to happen again. So they got to keep they got to keep their integrity on this one because this is a major rule. You cannot have guys going to their corner, making contact with their corner man. And furthermore, I just want to let everybody know they have an official every in between rounds, there's an official at each corner watching, making sure the
Yes, they
corner
do.
man is not giving you anything illegal that he shouldn't be giving you or she. But there is some official
Yes.
making sure they're not slipping anything in your glove. They're not giving you any enhancement, any liquid that you shouldn't be having. They're making sure that you are doing everything by the book. That's why you see an official jump in there and they're watching. So when you run to your corner and the official is not there to see exactly what's going on, that's why the New York State Athletic Commission needs to do the right thing because these things can happen.
Now, Ed, let me ask. I know we're gonna jump subjects here, but this is the last one. Let me ask you something. If they would have called it, they would have called the point. They would have
Mm.
called it a knockdown, 10 count. The fight continues. I think it would have been a different fight. I think Tank that would have lit Tank up to go over there and not try to do a 1 round knockout, but he would have lit him up to fight a better 3, 4 rounds. I think it would have
Eh,
definitely changed the pace of the fight. I don't think he would have won because I mean, but you know what? It would have definitely changed him. I mean, he was fighting like if he's a diva. He was fighting like a
Yeah,
diva, you know? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Hey, David, you just made me think of something that I don't think I've ever heard. I don't think I've heard anybody ask, and I'm going to ask you: if the referee counted that as a knockdown, would that be enough for you? What about the fact that he ran to his corner and got wiped off? Would anybody have a problem with that? If the referee counted that as a knockdown and it was a standing 8 count, but Tank still went to the corner and got wiped off, which is illegal, would anybody still be making a big noise about this?
You know what? I'm just reading JC where he says, and I have a lot of respect for Roberto. As a matter of fact, I was going to call him today, see if he could come on the show. He'd be great to have on the show, Roberto Diaz. That
Mhm.
when that happened, he ran to the commission. They told him to get the hell out of there. Roberto Diaz.
Oh, really?
That's what he
Yeah,
said right now.
we've had
We've
him
had
on
him.
here.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we've had him on here. Yeah,
You know, if
cool
it's
guy,
okay
man.
with you, I could probably get him to come on next week to talk about that because he's on his commission now, or not his commission, part of his team, and he could also talk about TKO. You want me to
Okay.
try to get a hold of him to come on next Friday with us?
Let's do it,
Yes.
man. Let's do it
Okay,
because
I'll
there
work
looks
on
like
that.
there's gonna be a
Okay,
big change. But
all right.
just real quick before we jump subjects,
Yeah,
David, if Steve Willis ruled it a knockdown, but
I
Tank's
would still have
being
a problem with it. I would still have a problem
okay,
with it, but I think I would have let it go
okay,
because you know what I mean. It wasn't to me right now. That knockdown is more important than wiping his face. To me, that is more important right now because that's going to define the winner of that fight right now. They could deal with
mm,
a wiping. If it's a wiping the face, I think that's a DQ. The
yeah,
wiping. I
it's a
don't think that's
DQ.
a point. That's a DQ. So
That's a
they could have to
DQ.
deal
Yes.
with that separately. But to me, the knock the 10 the 1 point is going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, that you know what? I don't think people would be as pissed. Maybe some would, but honestly, because if that was ruled a knockdown, Roach wins the fight. But I don't think people would be as invested as the wiping of the face, which is a DQ. And I would still be like, okay, that still needs to be addressed. You still need to address that. You cannot leave that door open for fighters to go do that. So if Steve Willis even called that a knockdown, but didn't call the disqualification, we still have a problem. I just
Yeah.
don't think the boxing, the boxing fans, the boxing community, as they like to call it, would be up in arms about it the way they are right now. Because then Roach wins the fight, and it's like, well, who cares if he wiped his face? Like, no, no, that's a big deal. You cannot be going and
Can't
doing
do it.
that
No.
because something can happen. The corner man can, give him something, slip him something, anything of that sort, man, when the official is not there watching them. So we'll see. I guess we're supposed to find out sometime at the end of this week, but here we are. We'll find out. Um, David, let's move on, brother. TKO, Endeavor, Turkey Al Sheik, Dana White, UFC, man, WWE.
Hmm.
Um, it's official. There's no name yet of what they're gonna call their league. We've been talking about it for a while, and I'm like, yeah, it looks like it's gonna happen. Okay, well now we know 2026 they are premiering a boxing league. Um, he's teaming up with Dana White. There's so much going on right now. The boxing world, their brains are spinning around so much to the point where Canelo, there's footage out there of Turkey Al Sheikh promoting Canelo versus Skull, and Canelo's trying to come with his WBC belt, and Turkey's all like, no, 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 don't bring that belt here. Looks like he wants to get rid of. I'm not saying he is, but it seems like he wants to get rid of all the alphabet titles, and we'll have one championship with this league. It starts next year. So, David, what's your thoughts? We've talked about this, brother, but what's your thoughts? Because it is official now.
Ed, we've seen this before. And
Mm,
I'm gonna remind everybody that's watching the show right now where we saw it at. We saw it with the PGA. We saw it with the PGA when live in June of 2022, the same Arab group, other than Turkey, because he wasn't part of that, but there was another Turkey. We're gonna call him the dove, or we'll call him el perro, whatever. He started the LIV, against the PGA. They started their own league and they went out and got the top golfers. And I don't have the names right now, but we saw it before. And you know what? And right now you got the PGA who has a lot of them. Tiger Woods never left, but other guys left. They promised them millions of dollars. So we're going to see the same thing occurring again. We're seeing it. History repeats itself. So we've seen this movie before. Now you have PGA and you have the LIV, and they are run. Guess where they're run out of? Riyadh. And guess who runs them?
Yeah.
The Arabs. You know what I mean? It's like I said, it's
Yeah.
not a turkey, but it's some other camel, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? It's whatever you want to. But there's another turkey that's running the live against the PGA. And when that happened, everybody in America was like, "Oh my God, the Arabs are taking over, and PGA is gone, dude." It's been 3 years, and the PGA is stronger than ever. You know, so
Okay.
so what I'm saying is, we've seen this movie. Even though he's hooking up with Dana White, dude, that's why they have Canelo. That's why they have Theo. That's why they have all these young upcoming fighters, because they are going to try to steal them and make their own league. But we are going to continue with Top Rank. I don't know about PBC, but Golden Boy, we're still going to continue. That's our PG. That's our PGA. That's American. But you're still going to have live, but now it's Riyadh. Does that make sense?
Yeah. David, so are you into
We've
golf? Do you
seen it.
watch golf?
No,
Do,
no, but you know what?
okay.
I was thinking about it today. Dude, I hate golf, but I was thinking about it today, and I was
Yeah.
thinking, I was going, we've seen this before. And I was thinking where, and I think they even tried, those Arabs even tried to do the same thing with NASCAR, start their own NASCAR. You know what I
Oh
mean?
gosh.
But live definitely took off, and everybody in America was saying, "Oh my God!" Just like everybody right now in America is panicking. Oh, it's the end of the WBC. It's a D, you know. And I do why we need changes. Yes, it's the end of Golden Boy. They're going to buy everybody out. No, they're not, man. I mean, we're going to have PGA and we have life. We're going to have American boxing and we're going to have the Arabs. And you know what? And
Oh.
that's why they're picking up Canelo and all these great fighters, because they want to build up their stable. But we
Oh.
have Virgil Ortiz. If they were smart, they would start picking up Virgil Ortiz. He's the next face. You know what I mean? But they're going after Canelo. Canelo has 1 or 2 more years and he's gone. Who are they
Mm.
banking on? Tio, está loco. You know?
Listen,
Does that
man.
make sense?
No, it does. I got a lot
Yeah.
to say about it. For
Yeah.
one, I hope the Arabs don't go after NASCAR, man. Come on, that's
No, I'm
like a
just saying, but I'm just
that's a
saying that
straight
it's the same
American
thing.
rooted sport, man. No, I get
Exactly.
you. I get you.
Yeah. You know?
I get you.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Um, do I believe that this league is gonna take over boxing? Actually, David, I do.
They can.
I
They
yeah,
can.
I think it is. Here's the thing, because people are making it like with the snap of a finger. It's like, oh, you're not gonna have all these big guys in this league. Okay, it's a slow process, and I use wrestling as as just like you're using golf. I use wrestling. Now, I'm a huge wrestling fan, right? Once upon a time, it was called the territories because there was just like in boxing today, all these different promoters, just like in wrestling, back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, there was all these different promotions all over the country, right? And guys would move around, mix around. You kind of sell one guy to the other promotion. Okay, you could have my champion go fight your guy, wrestle your guy, but then I'm gonna have them come back. They would make deals with each other like that. And then here comes Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who ran into some legal issues, but it looks like he's out of the hot water, and he monopolized it. There still are some promotions out there in wrestling, but they don't come close to what the WWE is. I mean, the newest one, the AEW, again, that's I forgot the guy's name. The guy's rich. He's super rich. It's nowhere near the popularity. Maybe it gets there one day, maybe it doesn't. But there's all kinds of different wrestling promotions, but everybody knows where you want to be. That's the WWE because that's the big money. So what I'm saying when it comes to this, do I believe that this is going to take over boxing? Actually, yes, I do. Do I believe it takes
Really, Ed?
over next?
I don't
I,
see
I
it.
do.
I don't
I
see it.
do.
I
Okay,
do not
okay.
see it. Yeah.
Here's how,
I
David.
think I think I
Here's
think we're gonna have two. And you know what? I don't want to cut you, but before I forget,
mm,
you know what's really interesting about all this? When you see the live, which are the Arab run,
mm,
and they have the best players in the world, just like the PGA does. Dude, they have music breaks, people singing during the golf game. They have concerts. I mean, what are we seeing with these guys? See, it's history repeating itself. Now it's not.
I,
I mean, you know what I mean? So, I
yeah.
mean, they want to push the music because they're thinking it's a new generation. Like I said, when it happened on June of 2022, everybody in America was panicking. But give it
Mm.
3 years, just like right now. You know what I mean? They can take it over. They can, but I don't see it because you know what? We are the strongest, not because we're a strong nation, but dude, our foundation when it comes to boxing, the blacks, the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, dude, the Filipinos in America, dude, we're it's a foundation. Now, does it need tweaking? Of course it does. Of course it does. It needs tweaking, but
Oh, we're,
it's good for us fans because we're going to be able to watch. Hey, do we want to watch this or do we want to watch WWE? I mean PGA, or do we want to watch live? We're benefiting from it.
okay. Okay. Here's the thing, David. Here's the thing. This league, whatever it's going to be called, okay, is it going to be a success story immediately? No. But 10 years from now, David, 10 years from now, I think it's going to be,
And see,
I
I
think it's
see
going
it.
to be
I
with
see
that.
and see. I see it different. I'd
Okay.
see it being a success the first year, 2 years. 10 years from now, it's not even going to be around.
Oh, no, man.
I don't
Okay.
see it. I don't
Okay.
see that. I
Okay.
don't see what Dana White, dude. I don't see it because you know what? Boxers are not going to fall under the same category as MMA fighters, dude.
Mhm.
Boxers. That's why MMA fighters want to become boxers, and Dana's going to want to run it. The way he runs his MMA. Those boxers are getting used to a lot of money, and right now, that's how they're going to entice them. But I don't see the Arabs being around in 10 years. No.
Oh, okay. And Gordito said, I think the league is more for prospects. Okay. That's how, okay. Yes. See, that's how it's going to start. Okay. Think of 10 years from now. Think of all the biggest names in boxing right now. Okay. 10 years from now, they'll all either be retired or they're going to be a shell of what they once were. There's no Canelo Alvarez in 10 years
No.
from now. There is no
2 years.
Anthony.
That's
There's
it.
no Anthony Joshua. There's no Tyson Fury. There's no, let's just think about money makers. There's no Ryan Garcia. If there is, he's a shell of himself. Tank Davis is gone. All these guys are gone. The reason why these fights are getting made, okay, with Riyadh season, the reason why these fights are getting made is because these guys are getting overpaid to step into the ring. You cannot just keep doing that and doing that and doing that.
No, you can't.
They're getting, yeah, okay. So we are enjoying these fights. But the business aspect of it is that these fighters are getting paid more money than they really bring in. They don't bring in that type of money. So we're over here enjoying the fights while the Turkey Al Sheikh is over there overpaying that guy. Now, does it really hurt his pockets? No, the guy's a multi-billionaire. So it doesn't hurt his pockets, but he's not long term going to stay in it and not make any sort of profit. So it's like, okay, look, these are the fights that I can make, but he's only making it because he's overpaying these guys. You overpay these guys, and now these guys probably won't get in the ring as much as it is. Some of these guys don't get in the ring too often already. So I believe, okay, I believe, and by the way, I want to go on record. Do I like the fact that it's Saudi Arabia doing this? No, I don't. I would have much rather it been somebody in the good old US of A that does this, but it's not. Okay.
Well,
So
it
I
is. It is because Dana White's there.
okay. I
He's
mean,
the
look,
USA. You know what I mean?
okay,
And you know
okay.
what? You know what? I love Gordo Gordito, but I disagree with him. I don't
Mm,
see them preparing the prospects. I see
prospects.
the prospect. I see them going after the money makers right now because that's exactly what. Just look at live and look at PGA. It's going to repeat itself. That's exactly what they did. I see Golden Boy. I see here America us building up the prospects, the future champions. And that's why I'm telling you, I don't see it growing. That's a good one right there. That's hilarious. Uh, I don't see it growing because I don't see them looking at the prospects. They want the people to watch it now. So they got the Theos, the world champions right now.
Okay, well, David, let me go ahead and throw this out there. Okay, so you got I saw this one time. I forgot what fight it was, but you know how Golden Boy Oscar de la Hoya is over there working with the Turk. And I remember he's standing right next to Turkey Al Sheikh. I forgot what fight it was. And he's over there on the mic. He's all like, hey, man, yeah, we should make a Bivol. This is quite a few months back. Make Bivol versus
Benavides,
uh, no,
Benavides.
better BF. No,
Uh-huh.
Bivol versus that, like I said, this is a while back. Versus
Mhm.
better BF and have Zapata versus Shakur, all in the same card. Yeah, come on. And, trying to pump everybody up. And I'm like, okay, hang on a second. Why are you trying to pump everybody up? If Turk is able to make these matches, then what do we need Golden Boy? What do we need Eddie Hearn? Why do we need Frank Warren? Why do we need Queensberry? I don't even. Mikey was on here last week, and he even asked. He's on like, what is Turkey Al Sheikh? He's not a promoter. The promoters are Golden Boy, Matchroom, Queensberry. Those are the promoters. What is Turk? A sponsor? But my point is, if he's the one dishing out the cash,
Oh
if
yeah,
he's the one
yeah.
making these fights, then what do we need these promoters for? If it's the Turk making these fights, so that's why I'm kind of perplexed. I'm kind of like, okay, you're rooting for this guy to make these fights. Hey, Holmes, that's your job. So he's gonna make the fights that you can't make. Then what the heck do we need you for? And I do believe, David, I do believe that this is going to work. I do believe that eventually, it's going to take time, but I do believe that this league is going to take over. And when I say take over, I don't mean that there's not going to be any type of boxing outside of this league. No, I don't believe that. I think there will be, there's like right now, think of the promotions, right? Top Rank, Golden Boy, Matchroom, Queensberry, uh, PBC for as long as they stick around. Um, you still got other promotions. You still got, Boxer. You got, Pro Box. You got a lot of these other smaller ones. And I do believe there'll be other promotions. But eventually, David, I do believe that whatever league they start, I think eventually it might take a decade. It might take 10 years, but that's going to be the place to be.
And you know what? Let me apologize to Gordo Gordito. You Gordo Gordito, you're absolutely right. I could you pull up Puerto Rican rums? I forgot about that. I just read that.
This one right here.
Yeah, Dana White has already said prospect will be focused on the beginning like the NFL combines. I forgot about that. You're
Mm.
absolutely right. So por Gordo Gordito dispensa. I made a mistake on that one. So yes, you know what? I forgot I read that because I remember reading the combines. So they are going to focus on the prospects. You're absolutely right. I forgot about that.
The piece says Dana gonna make the fights, Turk gonna write the checks. That
In the
could be.
beginning, in the beginning,
I
yeah.
think that could be. Yeah, I think that could be it. I do believe. Hey, what's up to Mark right there, man? Yole Mark. I do think this is gonna change a lot, and the four sanctioning bodies now maybe they need to get their act together, David, because it doesn't look like the Turk has plans for those belts to be in the league. And like I said, is it going to be tough and rough at first? Yes, absolutely. I keep hearing um, other boxing content creators talking about like, hey, well, wait a second, what about you're not going to allow him to fight? It's not going to work because he's not going to be able to fight, the WBA champion, the WBC champion. Yes, at first it's going to be like that. That's why this is not a snap of a finger. This is long term. 10 years from now, I do believe that this league will monopolize boxing. There will still be there'll be other promotions, but this league is going to be where it's at.
And you know what, Ed? I like it. I like it. The reason why, because whether they use the ring belt, that's going to be the big belt. There should be one
Yes.
champion for division, not four or five champions. One champion. That's it. He's the world champion. So I
Yeah.
definitely believe in that. All these other
Yeah.
belts and interim champion and
Yeah,
quadruple interim champion,
right.
get rid of that. I've always hated that. Yeah.
And you know
Yeah.
what? I was watching D Star was still on here, D Star and Calix earlier today, and they touched on that. It's just like, okay, you got all these sanctioning bodies, right? So it's like, okay, you got four champions. You got four champions. It's not. Is it really that hard to keep up with? Yeah, maybe not really, right? And they touched on this. They said, but then you got all these. You got the regular champion. You got the interim champion. You got, and it's just like, okay, and now you got the mandatories, right? It's like, okay, whomever, whomever Bivol fights next, he's not going to be unified champion anymore because the IBF and the WBC both ordered a mandatory. So if he fights the IBF mandatory, the WBC strips him. If he fights the WBC mandatory, the IBF strips him. So now it's like, okay, so now he's not unified champion, but
But
he
Cholo,
beat the guy.
how many
Yeah,
times was David Benavidez mandatory by WBC to fight Canelo? And what did Canelo say? Get the heck out of here. You know what I mean? So when I see them, the only one that had some balls and really did it. You know who that was? That was the IBF, and that's why we have Skull. But all the other ones, dude, they always did that. You know? Yeah,
okay, I would say that yes about the IBF, David, but and you're right. Yeah, okay, the IBF stands on it. I will
yeah.
say that they
They're the
definitely
only
stand on.
one. Yes.
Yes, they're the only ones, and they will strip you. Now, hats off to them for having integrity, but is it the best move? I mean, William Skull is world champion at 168. Doesn't everybody know that it's Canelo? Like that. That's why
Yeah.
I'm saying like these sanctioning bodies. It's just kind of, that's why this league. I do believe this. I do believe that's it. Fighters will not be getting overpaid the way they are right now, and they'll make a good living. But there's going to be one champion, one top of the hill, and that is it. And with these four sanctioning bodies right now, and on top of it, the Continental champion, the regular champion, the
Exactly.
interim
Yeah.
champion, on top of all that stuff, and with all these promotions that don't really want to work with each other. So it's like, okay, well, you got champion here, you got champion over here, you got champion there. Okay, why don't they fight each other? Well, because these with this promotion is that side of the street, is this side of the street. Okay, so then who do you need? You need Turkey Al Sheikh to come here to overpay these guys so they could get into the ring. And now finally we start unifying titles. So then why not just the thought process? Okay, why not just get rid of these promoters that can't make these fights happen? They don't want to pay these guys. You got these sanctioning bodies, so we can look at one guy to say that's the champion right there, him, because he's got all four belts. Why not just make it one belt? I don't know. These promoters can't make these fights. I'll make the fights. I think in the long term, David, I think it's going to work.
Yeah.
I do,
I
and I
hope
don't
so.
think it's such. I
Yeah,
don't think it's such a
competition
bad
is always
idea.
good. Competition is always good. I want it to
Mm.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't as a boxing fan, I don't think it's a bad I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm sure there's some boxing fans that hate it. That's fine. Like I said, do I do I like the fact that it's really coming from Saudi? No, I don't. The fact that Daniel White's in it, an American, that kind of puts me a little bit more at ease. But I will say this, David. I will say this, man. Um, it's gonna take some time. They are going with it where the sanctioning bodies are going to go and where all the promoters are going to go. I'm not really sure. They're still going to be around. They'll still make a little bit of money here and there, but I think eventually, years from now, that league is where it's going to be at.
I'm going to work on getting Roberto Diaz on our show next Friday.
Okay.
I'll reach
All
out
right.
to him. I have his number. I'll give him a call. I'll text him, and I'm going to see if he can come on our show. He could kill two birds with one stone. He could talk about the roach, and then if he really got kicked out, like JC said, sáquese de aquí, hediondo. If that really happened, and he could also talk about TKO. I think it'd be great for have him here. He's in the mix, so he'll be able to give us a lot of inside information. I
Yeah.
agree with you,
Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Puerto Rican rum. I mean, we could see,
Yeah,
trilogies more often when it's a really good fight. We could see that, and hopefully, like Paulie Malignaggi, he's pissed about this, right? Because he's thinking about the fighters, and I don't want to just throw that out the window. I do care about fighters, man. Okay. Do I want to see good fights? Do I want to see some blood? Do I want to see some good chingazos? Absolutely. But I do not want to see a fighter just go through the ringer and end up on a stretcher. I don't want to see that. So, does it always have to be necessarily about money? Hopefully there's something more there for the fighters as well. Uh Maybe medical or something. Hopefully, this league provides something for the fighters. But as far as them getting overpaid the way they are right now with Turkey Al Sheikh, I think those days are numbered. I think that's Turkey Al Sheikh kind of just flexing right now, saying, "Look, I can make these fights because I can overpay these guys that you are not willing to do. I can do it. I'm in the good graces with these guys now. Everybody in the boxing world knows who this guy is now. I never heard of this dude before this. I didn't know who the heck this guy was. He enters the boxing sphere. Now he's probably one of the most popular guys in boxing.
And you know
So,
what? Let me answer Mark 1976 Anthony. It's like
mm,
could you bring that one up? NFL, USFL, Canadian Football League, one trophy, no way. You know what? I agree with you, Mark. That's why I see two leagues. Just like you have the PGA, and I've been saying that you have live. It's going to be the same thing. We're going to continue to have Pro Box TV American, Golden Boy American, Top Rank still, but PBC, I don't see them. But if they do survive, that's good. And then you're going to have the this league. Let's call it TKO, and you're going to have two different leagues. So it's good for us fans because we're going to be able to pick on Saturday night. I'm going to watch the American, whatever they're going to call it, Golden Boy, whatever, or else I'm going to watch TKO. So we are going to benefit from it.
yeah, yeah, I think this is gonna be good for the fans. Even though I
Yeah.
know there's a lot of boxing fans that are pissed about this. A lot of people that are on Paulie Malignaggi's side. He's pissed
Yeah.
about it because he wants the fighters to get a lot of money and stuff. And I'm not against fighters getting paid. I'm not against fighters getting paid. However, you get paid what you bring in, homie. That's that's what it is. And right now,
Yeah.
a lot of these fights that we are enjoying, they're getting paid. They're getting overpaid. They don't bring in that money. The numbers came out. Shoot, we're running way over time. But just real quick, the numbers came out at least for the U.S. buys, and it was somewhere around 45,000 buys
And
for the Riyadh days.
that's on the Bivol fight, Bivol card.
Bivol better be a fight. Yes, yes.
45,000 only in America.
U.S. buys. Yeah, yeah. If
Wow.
people want to believe that a little more, a little bit less, numbers are always a little bit chalky. But at the same time, I mean, I David, at the same time, look what time it was during the day. And second of all, David, that card, people were saying like that's a super card, and it was. It
It
was.
was
However,
initially.
okay,
Initially.
okay,
Yes.
but here's the thing though, David, it was a super card for true boxing fans, not
Yes.
casual boxing fans.
That's right. Yes.
There was really no superstar on that card.
Mhm.
There was no Canelo Alvarez. There was no Anthony Joshua. There was no
Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
There was no superstar. Was it a true boxer's favorite card? Yes, but superstar wise, for it to sell, no.
You know what? I can't wait to see the numbers on the Roach and Tank fight because
Yeah,
everybody's saying that Tank is the face of. I'd like to see now. He, according to certain individuals, Tank's the face. He's not to me, but maybe not now after this fight. But I'd like to see those numbers. Yeah, I'd
yeah,
like to see those
yeah.
numbers when they come out.
Yeah. So, well, we'll definitely keep an eye on that, man. Hopefully those
Definitely,
numbers come
brother.
out next
Yeah,
week and everything is going on. I mean, we are in a critical time in the sport of boxing. And shout outs to Calix because I like what he said. He said and I'm paraphrasing here, but I like what he said earlier today. He said he's tired of hearing people say like boxing is such in a great place. It's such in a great place. Actually, the way he pointed it out, yeah, no, it's not. It's not in a great place. Yes, we're getting a lot of these great fights, but that's because you're overpaying fighters. You're giving them, you're overdoing something to get some of these fights. There's little to no superstars. The biggest superstar we have is Canelo Alvarez. The other superstar we have is what? Anthony Joshua. I mean, globally, there's not really a lot of big stars in the sport of boxing. And some of the guys that are stars for a lot of the wrong reasons, like a Ryan Garcia.
Yeah,
So I think the sport does need to get shaken up, and we are in a crucial, pivotal time in the sport that we all love. And there's definitely going to be some changes coming out, man. So we'll keep a close eye on that. So I love it. I love boxing, man.
me too.
As
I
Mikey
love
says,
being
no
on our
boxing,
show
no
just to talk about it. Yeah.
life. Anything else, David? Before we wrap it up, brother?
No, brother, I'm going to work on getting Roberto on our show next week. I think it'll be a great show.
Hey, carnal, and I'm in. I was just talking to Bobby Garcia, which is Ryan Garcia's oldest half brother. We're looking to have some sort of major party, man, for that May 2nd against Rolly Romero. That I'm loving that fight,
That's
man.
going to
I'm
be a
loving
good
that
card.
card.
Yeah.
All right, man. Hey, that is David Contreras, the Gran Chingon, El Mero Mero. Shout outs to our boy Mike Zavala,
Yeah.
Mike Nello from Mikey TV. He'll be back on here. Cholo Choco Los Tres Chingones Boxing. Whatever you guys do this weekend, be safe doing it. So we come back and do it again. Catch you guys on next round.